thank you, Allison Gill from Mueller, She Wrote.
Yes.
She has been on top of this story in some days by herself.
She's my binky. They know she's my binky. I'll be like Veruca assaulting my ass off, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
Okay, Allison says.
Right. But I mean, she has been out there on a limb reporting this story with this in mind, with this day in mind, knowing that it was going to lead here. Because what she's doing, it's kind of an amazing thing. She not only reads headlines, but she reads articles.
Oh,
you believe that? It's a strange thing
in the
nerd.
Age
of social media.
Nerd.
She clicks on articles and then reads the content of those articles. And the content of those articles has led her to believe all this time that the Department of Justice has been investigating Donald Trump at that level with a grand jury. And she is absolutely right. And she deserves a lot of credit for sticking her nose into this.
She was just on with us Monday, and she always takes crap on Twitter. People are like, oh, she's just like liberal porn to make liberals feel better. It's not blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, A, yes, I want to feel better. But B, I think Jody said it yesterday too, is when have we had an investigation of this kind to know how long this takes? When have we had a coup to overthrow the government of the United States? So, Jody is she's like my delivery system for Allison. And I'm like, okay, give me another shot of what's happening. Because I get it. I mean, I get the impatience because we, as you say, Bob, like this we got the clip from you from Breaking Bad. He can't keep getting away with this because we've been sitting here. Malcolm Nance is coming on today. Before the 2016 election, he said Russia is interfering. The Trump campaign is colluding, right?
He can't keep getting away with it.
Ukraine, right?
He can't keep getting away with it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, I understand some people felt burned by the Mueller report and how it kind of dropped with a wet thud. And
because of Bill Barr.
Really wasn't it was less about the Mueller report, but more about Bill Barr and the way he kind of sabotaged it ahead of time.
Kind of.
So I understand people have some PTSD as far as that episode of the Trump.
Well, and his whole life. And his whole life being a criminal and getting away with it. Yes. And and Alvin Bragg saying, oh, it's too risky to try to prosecute it. I'm like, what? What is the justice system for, right?
Right. Well, so in this case, I imagine people are going, well, we'll see it. We'll believe it when it happens. When he's in shackles being frog marched out of Bedminster or wherever he is, then we'll buy into this. But at the same time, I'm noticing that a lot of the people who have been screaming do something at Merrick Garland for months and months and months now. Silence, absolute crickets chirping, which is strange because this should be pretty good news, given what we have witnessed, the crimes that he's committed.
But I said, Bob, that if it was pressure from people like that, from the public, from, I don't know, or members of the J6 committee, Adam Schiff, who we just hung out with a couple days ago, he's obviously been very outspoken on TV about impatience with the Justice Department. I mean, Elie Mystal, as I said, the point is to be hair on fire. He looks like his hair is on fire. He is...
and he's good at it.
Right. So who knows?
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Or maybe none of that had any effect on Merrick Garland. I don't know. But I don't care. However he goes to prison.
Well, I wrote last week in an article I did for the Banter newsletter that Merrick Garland is trailblazing here. He's creating something new that hasn't been done in the history of the executive branch of the United States government, and which is to investigate an ex-president, prosecute an ex-president. So this is new territory. So what he's doing is, because the United States government is so based not only on the rule of law, but also on tradition and precedent. Those three things are almost co-equal as far as their importance in American government. And so he's creating new precedent so that if this happens again, and we know that the Republicans already are probably planning on investigating Joe Biden as soon as they get their own attorney general in there in the future, hopefully not. But and so what Merrick Garland is establishing a system to keep this on the level. In case, not only to keep this, above board, but also for future attorneys general to pursue.
Bob, if you listen to our friend Joe Weinbanks, or by the way, Bob Cesca tweets, if you listen to only one of my shows, make it this one. I had the honor of talking to Robbie Pickering, creator and executive producer of the amazing Gaslit miniseries on Starz, which was, by the way, great podcast. I love how you talk to him about how he writes fascists and, the G. Gordon Liddy stories. But if you listen to that. We're historians, Bob. That's what created the impression that presidents are above the law is pardoning Nixon. And that they cover that in Gaslit, the series. That's why Trump, at the time, why Ford lost. Because he pardoned Nixon. It was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It was wrong.
Yeah. Right. And there is this idea of, well, you know what, if we do this, if we investigate an ex-president, then the next guy is going to come in and investigate our ex-president, and then it's just going to be every administration that comes in investigates the previous administration, and that not only gums up the DOJ with, mandatory investigations on day one, with an ex-president in the crosshairs, but also it just it sort of grinds government to a halt. All the attention, everyone's eye of Sauron immediately focuses on that.
When we invent a crook as crooky as Donald Trump on our side, then we'll worry about that, Bob. But
oh yeah, exactly. But the Republicans won't need that. Because I guarantee if the worst case scenario happens and some Kristi Noem gets elected in 2024 or something like that, she is going to hire an attorney general who is going to investigate Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and Burisma and the laptop, which doesn't exist, and Ukraine and all of that. So that is mandatory because they're all into vengeance.
Yeah, the missing Secret Service texts of the, surrounding the overthrow of the United States government, I think, a little more important than Hillary or the Hunter. Okay, I just was checking with you. Yeah. Okay. You point out it really is a cult. You just said there are chronological adults paying $3,900 per ticket to see Trump tell the Raisin Cane Sir story for the gazillionth time, and they're all screeching about $4 gas. I mean,
my God, yeah. I was watching, a great way to watch those Trump rallies, and we're talking about the TPUSA rally from over the weekend. Is to watch Hal Sparks's Mega Worldwide YouTube show.
Yes,
because it's so entertaining to watch. The rally is awful, but he makes it funny and he tears apart. It goes almost like word by word, stop, start, and just rips it to shreds. And that's Trump did the whole Raisin Cane story the other night, and I couldn't believe listening to that story for the 1,000th time. Because he always tells the General Raisin Cane, I can't believe your name is Raisin. It's amazing. Raisin Cane, you're my guy because of your name.
Oh, God.
And that was the thing. And people are paying thousands and thousands of dollars now because Donald Trump is no longer doing those rallies for free. Yeah. These are paid concert events. Oh my God. Like, I don't know, it's like the political Red Hat equivalent of Live Nation selling tickets. And one of the top tier tickets is something almost like $4,000.
Holy crap.
And for your $4,000, you get to go to the event and you get a meet and greet afterwards with Don Jr. How fun is that?
Okay, can I just say
you snort a pile of cocaine with Don Jr.
You bitch slapping Don Jr. on Twitter is one of my favorite new things. He tweeted 3 weeks from today we're going to retire Liz Cheney, and you said meanwhile Liz Cheney is helping retire your dad to a maximum security retirement cell.
It's almost too easy. Sometimes I tweet stuff like that. I'm like, is it like, it's like I feel like I'm punching down with Don Jr. It's too easy.
Oh, like Marsha Blackburn said, face masks hurt children, and you said name one kid who was murdered in school by a mask, but you can't. Why? Because you're a shallow, disingenuous poser who routinely deceives her sucker audience with obvious agitprop. This party, Bob.
Well, here's the secret. Stephanie. This is a big secret, and I don't think a lot of liberals know this. But guess what? As much as we complain about Democratic messaging, Republican messaging is 1,000 times worse. Yeah. And I'm talking about the Republican Party and its Republican leadership. I'm not talking about what happens on Fox News and the Red Hat Entertainment Complex. The party itself is terrible at messaging.
Yeah.
I point to Marsha Blackburn.
Yes.
Yeah. There's this other Republican running for Congress who keeps tweeting about pronouns, saying there's no pronouns in the Bible, no pronouns in the Constitution. And Charlie Pierce just had to reply to her and say, the first word in the Constitution is literally a pronoun. We, the people. And this is the Republican messaging. I think we need to sweat this a little bit less with, the Democrats are so far behind the messaging game. Republicans are terrible at it too. Make no mistake.
Well, I love you replying to, Hugh Hewitt basically accused J6 Committee of bullying for showing the video of Josh Hawley. And you said these slimy bastards have spent 7 years excusing and rationalizing Trump's bullying, his name calling, his endless vendettas, not to mention Fox News stalking and accosting of everyone from school principals to mentally ill homeless people for ratings and laughs. And really? Josh Hawley, noted fisting aficionado and insurrectionist. I think he can defend himself.
The whining, Stephanie, about playing that clip of Josh Hawley dashing through the hallways.
Did you hear Jamie Raskin say, we got a lot more video where that came from?
Yeah. I mean, here's how deep the whining goes. Mark Levin was on his Fox News show the other day whining about how this is a violation of separation of powers. Showing the clip of Josh Hawley in the House of Representatives is a violation of separation of powers, even though what he's really talking about is one chamber's members talking about another chamber's members, which isn't separation of powers. Separation of powers is judiciary versus legislative, executive versus judiciary, etc. This is completely different. And he got so deep into it, he was quoting Montesquieu, for God's sake. And this is the level, the caliber of the right-wing red hat whining about this. It's staggering to behold. Just crying. They can't stand it because if you live by bullying, you're going to die by bullying.
Yeah.
That's the key here.
Speaking of which, you were like Captain America on Twitter the last couple of days, on fire, just knocking left and right.
Yeah.
Someone said the left hates Kid Rock because he can't be canceled or controlled. You said, I don't think about Kid Rock at all, ever, other than replying to this tweet. Okay.
That's true. I don't. Like, who cares what Kid Rock has? It's like whenever I see a tweet about Ted Nugent, like I just don't give a flying rip about any of these people who are on the periphery. Like Scott Baio, I can't get bent out of shape about what Scott Baio and whoever the guy who played Hercules, Kevin Sorbo. Like, I don't care what any of those guys say. And if anyone's wasting your time on what Kevin Sorbo is tweeting, I urge you to find something else to latch onto on Twitter.
You did. I'm sorry. I missed a D-slap of John Jr. again. He tweeted, apparently the White House is changing the definition of recession this week so we can pretend we're not in one. And you said there was a manufacturing recession while your dad was president in 2019 before COVID. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.